Improving relationship communication is one of the two top goals for all my clients. NF or catalyst types are often seen as big old loving softies, but the one thing you have to know about them is that they can also be very direct and very demanding. Knowing how to communicate with an NF type so they'll hear you, and if you're an NF type yourself, knowing how to get your point across will improve your relationship overall. So let's get started with these 5 hacks. If you're new here, my name is Doris. I'm a certified personality type coach with a master's in psychology, and I have ENFJ preferences. First up, honor your preferences. You have to know what you're working with. You probably know the differences between ST and NF types, but within the NFs or catalysts, there's variety as well, of course. Consider the differences between directing and informing language styles, as explained by Dr. Linda Behrens in her Interaction Styles model, where, for example, INFJ and ENFJ use directing, and INFP and ENFP use informing language. As a quick example, someone with an informing style might say, it's getting chilly in here. Whereas someone with a directing style might say, hey, can you close the window, please? We all use versions of both depending on context and who we're with. But again, your type preferences come with a natural tendency to use one style over the other in a relationship. And I think maybe a good example might be finding pleasure in the bedroom. These styles can clash. The directing partner can sound quite bossy. To the left, more to the left, my left, not yours. But that's not out of malice. It's because there's a focus on time and effectiveness with this communication style. The informing partner, on the other hand, can sound a bit too vague, leaving their lover confused at what to do, and in the end, not getting what they came for. With this awareness and practice, the directing types can learn to soften their tone, and informing types can practice stating what they're actually after. In other words, if your partner has an informing communication style, now you know to ask whether they were just chatting or whether there's a hidden request somewhere between the lines that you maybe didn't pick up on. Along similar lines, voice your concerns. This may depend on how safe you already feel in the relationship. Especially extroverted feeling types, so the INFJ and ENFJ, often downplay their own needs to maintain harmony and not jeopardize the relationship, because every need is seen as a potential point of discontent. Similarly, the introverted NFs or catalyst types may have all the most important conversations in their heads. Well, your partner isn't a mind reader, so you'll have to say things out loud to them. This might seem skewed in favor of the extroverts, but not everything is a type thing, and this really is just a human relationship thing. At least in the beginning, you have to be vocal. Once you've been together and lived together forever, you'll get to the communicating with just a look stage, but it takes time to get there. So if you feel something, say something. If you need something, say something. The added bonus is you're not giving resentments a chance to fester, but catch them while they're still small and still manageable. In the number 3 spot, this is the quickest and most impactful hack, in my opinion. Only have important conversations when you're fed and rested. You know what it's like when you're already annoyed, it's been a long day, or you're hungry or tired. Your brain and nervous system are busy keeping you alive and alert, which means they don't have much resources left to also be nice and gentle and respectful. So, wait until you're fed and rested to discuss relationship decisions, because if you don't, in the words of George Michael's first solo hit, Careless Whisper, you just hurt each other with the things you want to say. Next, assume your partner loves and supports you and isn't out to get you. Especially NF catalyst types who weren't or didn't feel accepted as children have a hard time believing people might love them just as they are. And to an insecure mind, there are a multitude of potential triggers in even the smallest sigh. If you're the anxious or insecure NF, practice regulating your nervous system and take deep breaths. Not every criticism or disagreement means they hate you. I know it feels like that. But that's just your brain tricking you into thinking you're 5 years old again and your life depends on this person. That is no longer true. You're an adult with skills and resources, and since you know about type, you know your partner isn't pissing you off on purpose. It's just their brains are wired differently. Obviously, if you're with a very egocentric, abusive, or gaslighting partner, this does not apply. If the times you feel criticized and rejected outweigh the times you feel loved and cherished, more than 1 to 5, research by the Gottman Institute shows that you'd be better off getting out of there. Otherwise, for everyone else, give them the benefit of the doubt and see what happens. Finally, and I think this might be the hardest one for NF catalyst types to learn, at least it is for me, if you don't really show who you are, warts and all, your connection is not real. A lot of people say you have to love yourself first before you can have a great relationship with someone else. But I think you can learn to love yourself with the help of a supportive partner as well. They can help you heal a bunch of those old things you're still carrying that no longer make sense. Because look at you, you're badass. I love Brené Brown's quote for this. You are worthy of love and belonging, and you don't have to be perfect. Because newsflash, nobody is. People will still love you even if you mess up, because guess what? They mess up too, because that's the whole deal with being human. The more you hold back, the more disconnected you will feel, and that is hurting you and your partner. Likewise, if you are with an NF catalyst type and you are faking it, they can tell. What NFs want most, aside from personal growth and meaning, it's connection. To connect with someone else means being vulnerable and showing your dark stuff. And NFs are great at loving other people's dark stuff. So you can do them a favor by showing them who you are in all facets. They'll feel valued and honored, and they'll help you grow into the most amazing version of yourself. The paradox is NF catalysts either tend to think they don't have any dark stuff themselves because it's literally so far pushed down they have no conscious access to it, or they are so perfectionistic that they're aware of their flaws to the point it makes them self-conscious, and then they try to actively hide these flaws so they don't threaten the relationship. That might actually be a good topic for next week. What's hiding in the NF shadow? Yeah? Make sure you like and subscribe this video so you don't miss it. Summing up the 5 hacks again, they are: know when to switch between directing and informing language, voice your concerns out loud, have the big conversations only when you're fed and rested, assume your partner loves you, and be all of yourself. It's the advice you give to everyone else, and it applies to you as well. I'll see you next week, and we'll shine a torch into those dark corners, okay? In the meantime, leave a comment of which hack you'll try and maybe which ones I've missed, and watch this video next. I'll see you there.